Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So there you go. I think I might have showed this running before, I don't remember, but anyway, it sounds amazing, so we're listening to it again. Let me actually go ahead and shut this off because the door is closed and I don't want to kill myself with carbon monoxide. There we go. Okay, anyway, so yeah, I probably hadn't started this thing in probably been over a month since I had it started last time. You know, it sat over at Octavio's for a while getting its interior done and stuff like that. So yeah, fired it up today. I had the battery was disconnected, so yeah, pretty much connected the battery. It took a few tries to get it started. It would kind of start and then run for a few seconds and stop. But I think probably sitting so much, the fuel rails and the fuel injection system were probably, needed to be kind of filled up and stuff like that. But yeah, anyway, fires up, runs, and it drives. So take a look at my channel. I will be posting a short kind of teaser driving video of this thing. I did take it for its maiden voyage, which is my usual parking lot little run that I do. So again, our parking lot's kind of long along the building here, and then I make a left-hand turn, go across the building that way, and then on this side back here, there's a pretty big parking lot that you can make probably about a 200 or 300 foot diameter loop kind of around that parking lot, and then back over here. And yeah, it did great. Obviously, the fuel injection system still needs to be run a lot to learn all of its various trim values and stuff like that. But I mean, considering that it's just kind of been run in the shop here and stuff like that, it's actually pretty smooth so far. Because AJ did put in kind of like a base table, fuel and spark table based on the fact that this is a 2110. You know, you can kind of guesstimate what the motor is going to need, and so that's what it initially runs on, and then the more you drive it, it kind of learns what values it needs to actually match this exact motor, and taking into account sort of the dynamics of the car and stuff. I guess a heavier car would probably have different fuel tables than a lighter car, even with the same engine and stuff like that. And but anyway, yeah, so maiden voyage for this one today. Super huge milestone. I'm so happy. I went over to Octavio's shop afterwards, and I was talking to those guys, and they gave me a beer to celebrate. So yeah, just a huge milestone. Been a long road here getting this car together, and yeah, it's almost there. So obviously, it needs the fuel filler door, some stuff like that, but those things are pretty easy to do. I still have to put the seal on the deck lid and, a few things like that. But I decided to kind of focus on the like running and driving aspect of it, because those are the kind of things that could sort of, I don't want to say like go sideways, but those are like the more involved things that if there's issues, they would come up with the running and driving and stuff. Not really like going to be an issue putting the fuel door on. So at the moment, I'm kind of focusing, or going to be focusing now on kind of getting this thing out on the road and getting the fuel injection, again, learning its values and stuff, and making sure that the car brakes well, runs straight, turns, all that good stuff. I did do an alignment on it today. I don't remember if might have done one before preliminarily, but now the car is fully weighted down with the windshield and all the interior and stuff. So it settled some. It wasn't too far off. I think the front had maybe a 16th or an 8th inch of toe out. So it's the opposite of that now. It's about an 1/8 inch toe in, which is where I usually like to set these things. And yeah, I straightened out the steering wheel to the best of my ability in the shop here. And so once I get it out on the road, I'll see if the steering wheel needs any more adjustment as far as straightening it out. But yeah, so far so good, guys. So very excited. The other thing obviously I did today, or one of the first things I did, was finally like clear all those parts and moving blankets and stuff off the bed of this, and man, what a difference in just looking at this car without this sort of moving blanket and pile of parts on there. The thing just looks amazing now, and I only wish that I had the gates for it. So that's the two sides and then the back one, obviously. I wish I had those, because then this thing would basically look like a done truck. But the owner has those. I think what happened was when the painter painted the gates, they just painted them all green all the way, and so the owner of the car kept the gates, or kept them at the paint shop, because what he had to do is he had to go back and add the pearl white here above this sort of trim that continues on the gates. So he's got those, and I'm not sure if he's gonna bring those out when he comes to get the car, or just install those at his shop. Not really sure, but yeah, once those go on here, this thing is just gonna look insane. So that was a decent chunk of my day. Another little chunk was the blue buggy, which, as you can see, is now gone. So no news is good news. The owner and his wife picked it up today, and they drove off smiling in it, and I haven't heard back. So I guess we got all those electrical gremlins sorted out with that, and then we had a horn gremlin too. Which actually we're having a horn gremlin on here now that we're gonna have to solve. But yeah, so that's kind of a tongue twister. The blue buggy is gone now, and so this one, unfortunately, I think whoever mentioned that maybe it's been talking to the Devil bus, which is that bus back there in the corner. For those of you that don't know, those of you that follow the channel know exactly what I'm talking about when I call that bus the Devil bus. So the oil leaks that I fixed were not apparently what was going on. I took this thing on a 20-mile drive today and took it up some hills where I got it under load real good. I took it up to a little north of 6,000 RPMs a few times, and the oil issue in the engine compartment is still happening. However, pretty sure that what's going on is just an engine crankcase ventilation thing. I've just got that small vent on the oil filler. Well, here, let me just open this up. So yeah, I've just got this little filter on here, and apparently that's just not quite sufficient for this motor. The motor is new, and the rings are undoubtedly not fully seated yet. So I think the crankcase pressure is probably a bit higher than it would be on, like, say, a fully broken in motor. And if you drive the car and keep the RPMs below, maybe 5,000 or so, there's no oil showing anywhere. But then when you take it out and hammer on it and put a good load on it, it seems like it's coming out from the sand seal on the crank pulley there, and then it's kind of getting flung in both directions. So the way to take care of crankcase pressure is better crankcase ventilation. So picked up a breather box today from my buddy AJ over at Low Bucket, and I will be installing this tomorrow. So this will go to both valve covers, so those will be ventilated, and then this one will go to the filler stand right here, hose. And so that box is going to mount about there on the firewall, and that should take care of it. So I think once this motor can breathe a little bit better, then the oil issues will be gone. And so just to be on the safe side with this one, I think I'm going to go ahead and get another one of these boxes and go ahead and install one on here too, because this is also a bit, in fact, this is an even bigger motor. I don't know that he's going to be revving it a lot to like 6,000 RPMs, because it is kind of a lower RPM bus motor. But, that having been said, if he gets a little heavy with his right foot and does, take the RPMs up a ways, we don't want it leaking oil out of the, say, like the crank pulley. So yeah, I'll probably go ahead and put one of those on here too. It's a relatively simple job. So I think that is actually it for today, guys. I will be here tomorrow. I will be installing this breather box. on this bitchin' gorgeous, super awesome cowlick car. And I will probably also be putting some road miles on this one. So again, I need to get the fuel injection system, learning the learning the motor and stuff like that, and just general shakedown, brakes, etc., like I mentioned before. So look out tomorrow for a day in the life video, and then look out tonight, Friday. I will be posting up my short teaser video of driving this bad boy around the little parking lot over here that I use for initial test drives. So yeah, stay tuned to the channel. Lots of stuff coming up here. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.